If you like stories of the paranormal, be sure to like this video and subscribe for future tales. Story 1, The Renovation Horror. Sarah and Mark had just purchased their dream home in a quiet town on the outskirts of Cincinnati. The house, a grand Victorian, had stood empty for several years, leaving it in dire need of renovations. The couple eagerly began their work, and as they explored the house, they discovered a boarded-up basement door. Curiosity overcoming caution, they pried the boards loose and opened the door. A ghastly odor filled the air, making them cringe. Determined to continue, they descended into the darkness using a cell phone flashlight. Unsettling creaks and groans echoed through the basement, and shadows danced in the corners, but they pressed on. As they reached the bottom, the smell intensified, and they heard shuffling in the pitch-black abyss. Suddenly, an old empty paint can came from a darkened corner and knocked the phone out of Sarah's hand. Panic set in as they quickly retreated back up the steps in the ensuing darkness, and the shuffling grew louder and getting closer. As he was turning to close the door behind them, he caught a glimpse of a monstrous figure, a twisted amalgamation of limbs and decayed flesh making its way up the basement steps. They quickly replaced the boards over the basement door into the metal braces screwed into the door's frame, keeping the creature sealed in its prison. The creature, angered by its missed opportunity at freedom, unleashed a series of guttural growls and desperate scratches against the wooden barricade. Sarah and Mark, trembling with fear, rushed to the safety of their living room, hearts pounding. The creature's ominous growls reverberated through the house, creating an atmosphere of terror. Mark, clutching his cell phone, dialed the local authorities, his voice urgent as he explained their predicament. He detailed the purchase of the house, their plans for renovations, and the unexpected discovery of the aggressive creature now confined in the basement. The dispatcher, initially skeptical, dispatched a team to investigate. Mark guided them over the phone, providing detailed directions to their new home. Meanwhile, the creature's relentless attempts to break free intensified, its growls echoing like a haunting symphony. Within 35 minutes, the authorities arrived, armed and ready. They cautiously followed the growls to the barricaded basement door, where the monstrous sounds emanated. The team, prepared for the unknown, carefully removed the boards, revealing the grotesque creature within. As the authorities subdued the creature with several darts, Mark and Sarah stood in awe and relief. The nightmare that had lurked in their dream home was finally under control. Grateful for the prompt response, they thanked the authorities. Their harrowing ordeal was front-page news in the local Gazette the next day. Story 2, Cabin by the Lake. Lisa, Alex, and their friends chose C.J. Brown Reservoir for a weekend getaway. Renting a cozy cabin, no cell phones allowed, the group settled in for a relaxing escape. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Lisa and Rachel, enticed by the serene beauty of the lake, decided to take a moonlit stroll. The forest path seemed enchanted under the silver glow. Unbeknownst to them, a creature with fiery red eyes lurked in the shadows. As Lisa and Rachel exchanged laughter, the monster emerged, its grotesque form stark against the moonlit backdrop. Terrified, the girls sprinted back towards the cabin, the creature chasing close behind. Panicked, they reached the safety of the cabin, slamming the door shut just in time. The creature, unable to breach the sanctuary, loudly roared outside the door. They flipped the porch light on to get a better look at the horrifying beast through the window in the kitchen. Other lights flickered on at the neighboring cabins as the occupants heard the ghastly sound. The red-eyed creature retreated into the darkness. The friends, shaken but unharmed, barricaded themselves in for the remaining hour or so left before sunlight. The next morning the park authorities were pulling onto the road the cabins were situated on, having been called by other residents. Lisa, Alex and their friends were all outside the cabin, watching as the rangers pulled up. The man in the cabin next to theirs came out to see what was going on. They explained what had happened to the officer. At first he looked skeptical until the man from the cabin next door spoke up and exclaimed how loud the vocalizations were. Then the ranger looked up at the cabin and saw huge, deep claw marks on the wood siding of the cabin. He immediately called the office for assistance. He assured them that rangers would patrol the area. With their weekend marred but their lives intact, the group left C.J. Brown Reservoir with a chilling tale to tell. Story 3, Night of the Evil Intruders. It was a chilly October evening in Columbus, and David and Emily decided to embark on a haunted tour for their date night. The tour took them through the city's historic and eerie locations, and as the night deepened, they found themselves at an abandoned warehouse. As the guide recounted tales of supernatural occurrences, walking furthest from the guide, David and Emily heard unsettling hisses and scurrying nearby. Unable to identify the source, they dismissed it as part of the tour. But as they left the warehouse, they heard the unnerving sounds again. Returning to their car, the couple felt vibrations beneath it. Worried, thinking it might need a trip to the mechanic, they drove home, unaware that 6 malevolent creatures with yellow eyes had stowed away underneath. Upon reaching their garage and closing the door, they departed the car. As they were making their way into the house, chaos erupted as the creatures wreaked havoc. In a desperate attempt to fend them off, David grabbed a shovel, but the creatures proved agile and dangerous. One of them lashed out, cutting his leg. Stumbling, he nearly fell before Emily caught him. Escaping into their house, they armed themselves and David called the police, fabricating a story of human intruders to avoid skepticism. Hearing the glass in the window of the back door break, Emily grabbed the gun and ran through the doorway just as one of the creatures was about to get into the house. With trembling hands, she fired at the creatures, its yellow eyes extinguished in a flash. The lifeless creature slumped to the ground, a macabre trophy of their struggle. Hearing more glass shattering, they looked out the now broken window and the door leading to the attached garage, only to see the other creatures escaping into the night. When the police arrived, they found the lifeless creature, confirming the couple's harrowing tale. The couple, shaken and injured but alive, realized that their mysterious tormentors were gone. The garage, once a battleground, returned to stillness. The couple's date night, leaving them with a tale of supernatural survival to share. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe if you want more videos like this.